Hello, welcome to my channel. Today Brooke has never been shy about sharing what she thinks is right, and this time is no different. As tensions continue to build around the Forrester family and the company's future, Brooke steps into the middle of the drama, convinced that her guidance is exactly what everyone needs. Whether others agree is another story. She believes she sees the bigger picture more clearly than anyone else, especially when emotions are clouding judgment. In Brooke's mind, the people around her are making impulsive choices, and someone has to bring reason back into the room. Her confidence, however, creates fresh conflict. Brooke's habit of taking charge can come across as controlling, especially to those who are tired of being told what to do. She may see herself as helping, but others see a woman who refuses to stay in her own lane. Still, Brooke remains determined. She insists that her experience and instincts have been proven time and again. If people would simply listen, she believes many disasters could be avoided before they even begin. At the center of the storm is Steffy, who has made a bold decision that instantly divides opinions. Steffy has always been strong-willed, and once she makes up her mind, convincing her otherwise is nearly impossible. This latest move proves she is still every bit as fierce and decisive as ever. She is focused on protecting her family, the company, and her own future, even if that means upsetting people in the process. Some admire Steffy's ability to act decisively, while others criticize her for being too aggressive. Brooke, unsurprisingly, falls into the second camp. She views Steffy's actions as unnecessarily forceful and potentially harmful. From Brooke's perspective, Steffy is acting like a boss who values control more than cooperation. That opinion only deepens the long-running tension between the two women. Steffy, for her part, is not interested in Brooke's approval. She believes hesitation is weakness, and she has no patience for endless debates when important matters are on the line. If a tough choice must be made, she would rather make it herself than wait for someone else to do it badly. To Steffy, leadership requires courage, not popularity. The clash between Brooke and Steffy quickly becomes personal. Their disagreements are rarely limited to business or family strategy. Years of unresolved resentment always seem ready to resurface. Every conversation carries the weight of old betrayals, old rivalries, and old wounds that never fully healed. Even when they discuss current problems, the past sits silently between them. Meanwhile, Hope finds herself caught in the middle once again. She understands Brooke's concerns, but she also sees why Steffy believes strong action is necessary. That internal conflict leaves Hope emotionally exhausted. She is tired of being pulled between loyalty to her mother and the reality of dealing with Steffy. For too long, she has tried to keep the peace while others wage war. As pressure mounts, Hope reaches a breaking point. What begins as frustration soon turns into a fiery outburst that shocks everyone nearby. Hope, usually measured and calm, unleashes feelings she has been holding back for far too long. She accuses both Brooke and Steffy of turning every situation into a... In her eyes, they are so obsessed with winning against each other that they fail to see the damage they cause. Her words hit hard because they carry truth. Hope points out that family members keep being used as weapons in old grudges. She is tired of every decision being filtered through personal vendettas. She wants honesty, respect, and a chance to move forward without endless power struggles. Instead, she sees the same destructive cycle repeating again and again. Brooke is stunned by her daughter's anger. She never expected Hope to direct that level of frustration toward her. Brooke has always believed she was acting in Hope's best interests, guiding and protecting her whenever possible. Hearing that those efforts may have caused pain forces Brooke to confront a side of the situation she has ignored. Steffy reacts differently. Rather than appearing wounded, she grows defensive. She argues that Hope is blaming the wrong person. In Steffy's view, She has done what needed to be done while others complained from the sidelines. If Hope cannot handle hard truths or difficult decisions, that is not Steffy's fault. Hope refuses to back down. She says strength is not the same thing as bulldozing everyone around you. Real leadership, according to Hope, means listening as well as acting. It means caring about consequences, not just proving dominance. Her frustration is no longer just about one incident. It is about years of feeling dismissed. The confrontation leaves the room shaken. For a moment, no one knows what to say. Brooke is forced into rare silence. Steffy, though still defiant, recognizes that Hope's anger is genuine and deep-rooted. The usual scripts no longer apply. This is not another temporary disagreement that can be brushed aside. Elsewhere, others in the family watch carefully, knowing these tensions could spill into every corner of their lives. Ridge, in particular, understands better than anyone how dangerous these emotional battles can become. He has spent years balancing relationships with Brooke, Steffy, and Hope, often failing to satisfy any of them. Now he may once again be called upon to mediate impossible conflicts. Ridge also knows that Brooke and Steffy share more similarities than either would admit. Both are passionate, proud, and fiercely protective of those they love. Both believe they know what is best. Both can be stubborn to the point of self-destruction. Their rivalry persists, partly because they mirror each other in uncomfortable ways. As for Hope, her outburst may mark a turning point. For years she has been seen as the peacemaker, the softer voice in a loud family. But there comes a moment when patience runs out. Hope's refusal to stay quiet suggests she is ready to define herself on her own terms, rather than as an extension of Brooke or an opponent of Steffy. Brooke later tries to justify her behavior, insisting that experience matters, and younger generations should learn from those who came before them. Yet even she senses that simply asserting authority will not fix what happened. Hope is no longer a child seeking direction. She is a woman demanding respect. Steffy, too, reflects on the confrontation, though she would never openly admit it. Hope's criticism lingers because it touches a vulnerable point. Steffy prides herself on strength, but strength can become isolation when no one feels heard. If she alienates everyone around her, even victory may feel empty. The larger question remains whether any of them can truly change. Brooke has spent decades trusting her instincts above all else. Steffy has built her identity on decisiveness and resilience. Hope has often chosen harmony over confrontation. Breaking those patterns will not happen overnight. Still, moments like Hope's eruption can force uncomfortable honesty. Sometimes anger reveals what politeness hides. By speaking out, Hope has exposed cracks that were already there. The family can either address them or continue pretending everything is manageable until the next explosion. At Forrester, the drama also carries professional consequences. Personal feuds rarely stay personal for long when business power is involved. Decisions driven by emotion can affect partnerships, projects, and reputations. Employees may soon find themselves navigating another round of executive tension while pretending not to notice. Brooke believes wisdom should guide the future. Steffy believes strength should shape it. Hope believes neither matters without compassion and mutual respect. Those competing philosophies now stand in direct conflict, making the next chapter impossible to predict. One thing is certain: silence has been broken. Hope's voice has entered the battle in a way no one expected. Brooke can no longer assume her daughter will always side with her. Steffy can no longer dismiss Hope as passive or easily managed. The family dynamic has shifted. Whether this leads to healing or deeper division depends on what happens next. Apologies may be needed, but apologies alone are rarely enough in a family with so much history. Real change would require humility from people who are not known for it. For now, emotions remain raw. Brooke still thinks she knows best. Steffy still stands by her hardline decision. Hope still burns with the frustration she finally allowed herself to express. Each woman believes she is justified, and each carries wounds the others underestimate. That is what makes the situation so volatile. No one is entirely wrong, yet no one is entirely right. Brooke's concern comes from love, even if expressed poorly. Steffy's toughness comes from responsibility, even if handled harshly. Hope's anger comes from accumulated pain, even if delivered explosively. As the dust settles, the family faces a crossroads. They can continue repeating the same arguments under new circumstances, or they can finally confront the patterns that keep tearing them apart. Until then, Brooke's certainty, Steffy's command, and Hope's fury will remain on a collision course. Brooke remains convinced that if everyone had listened to her from the beginning, none of this chaos would have happened. She replays every conversation in her mind, certain she warned people about the consequences long before matters spiraled out of control. To Brooke, this is not arrogance. It is proof that experience should be valued. She has lived through enough heartbreak, betrayal, and family warfare to recognize trouble when it starts. That confidence is exactly why she continues to step in, even when others resent it. But what Brooke calls wisdom, others often see as interference. Her tendency to insert herself into decisions can make people feel she does not trust them to manage their own lives. She may genuinely want to help, yet her delivery often creates resistance rather than gratitude. Instead of building unity, she sometimes sparks fresh battles simply by assuming she should lead the conversation. Steffy, meanwhile, has no patience for Brooke's constant involvement. In Steffy's eyes, Brooke uses concern as an excuse to maintain influence. She believes Brooke always finds a reason to position herself at the center of every family issue, particularly when Forrester power is at stake. Steffy has spent years fighting to protect her place in both the family and the company, so she views Brooke's advice with suspicion. That is why Steffy's latest move carries so much force. She is sending a message that she will not be undermined, second-guessed, or manipulated. Whether it is a company decision, a family boundary, or a personal relationship, Steffy intends to make clear that she answers to no one. Her determination impresses some people, but it also intimidates others. There is no denying that Steffy knows how to command a room. She speaks with certainty, acts quickly, and rarely shows hesitation. Those qualities can be powerful in leadership, especially during crisis. Yet, they can also become dangerous when paired with pride. If no one feels safe challenging her, mistakes can grow unchecked. Hope sees that danger more clearly now than ever before. For years, she tried to believe that compromise was always possible. She wanted to think people could set aside grudges if they simply focused on what mattered most. But watching Brooke and Steffy repeat the same toxic patterns has worn down that optimism. She has begun to realize that peace cannot be maintained by one person, staying calm while everyone else stays combative. That realization fuels Hope's anger. Her outburst was not only about one argument or one decision. It was the release of years spent swallowing disappointment, frustration, and hurt. She has watched her mother and Steffy use emotional pressure, moral certainty, and family loyalty as weapons. She has often been expected to choose sides while pretending the choice was simple. Hope no longer accepts that role. She wants to be seen as an independent woman, not a symbol in someone else's rivalry. She wants her feelings considered without being interpreted through Brooke's agenda or Steffy's defenses. Most of all, she wants the cycle of manipulation and hostility to end. Brooke struggles to hear that criticism because it challenges how she sees herself. She has long believed she is the protector, the one who steps in when others fail. If Hope views some of those actions as controlling or harmful, Brooke must question choices she has justified for years. That is an uncomfortable reckoning. Still, Brooke is not ready to surrender her perspective. She argues that being a mother means stepping up, even when children dislike it. She insists that she has fought for Hope's happiness countless times and would do so again. In Brooke's heart, Love explains everything. But love does not erase impact, and that is the lesson Hope wants her to understand. Steffy also refuses to concede much ground. She says the world rewards strength, not endless emotional analysis. According to Steffy, difficult decisions often upset people, but someone must make them anyway. She considers herself practical where others are sentimental. If feelings get bruised along the way, she sees that as unfortunate but unavoidable. Hope pushes back against that logic. She believes accountability matters just as much as decisiveness. Power without empathy creates fear, not respect. If Steffy wants loyalty, she must stop treating disagreement as betrayal. If she wants trust, she must stop assuming dominance equals leadership. The tension between the three women now affects everyone around them. Conversations become guarded. Family gatherings feel like minefields. Even routine business meetings carry emotional undercurrents. People choose words carefully, knowing one comment could trigger another explosion. Ridge feels the pressure more than most. He loves Brooke, supports Steffy, and cares deeply for Hope, yet those loyalties constantly collide. Whenever conflict erupts, each woman expects him to understand her side. Each believes he should defend her more strongly. Ridge often ends up disappointing all of them at once. He knows something has changed after Hope's confrontation. She is no longer content to absorb everyone else's drama quietly. Her willingness to challenge both Brooke and Steffy means the old family balance is gone. Ridge senses that ignoring the deeper issues would only guarantee worse problems later. Elsewhere in the company, whispers spread. Forrester Creations has always mixed business with family complications, but employees can tell when tensions are escalating. Decisions may soon be influenced by personal grudges rather than sound judgment. That uncertainty creates anxiety among staff who simply want stability. Brooke believes the company needs maturity and perspective. Steffy believes it needs strong leadership and discipline. Hope believes it needs less ego and more collaboration. Each vision contains truth, but none can succeed while personal resentment dominates every discussion. As emotions simmer, smaller moments become significant. A delayed phone call feels like disrespect. A changed meeting agenda feels like sabotage. A simple disagreement about scheduling can reopen deeper wounds. When trust is damaged, ordinary events start carrying extraordinary meaning. Hope begins considering what boundaries she needs for her own peace. She cannot keep living as mediator, daughter, employee, and emotional referee all at once. If Brooke and Steffy insist on fighting, Hope may decide she needs distance from one of them, or from both. That possibility frightens Brooke. She has always assumed that, no matter how intense family conflict became, her bond with Hope would remain secure. Realizing that Hope might step away forces Brooke to confront the cost of constant interference. Advice offered too forcefully can drive away the very person it aims to protect. Steffy reacts differently to the threat of distance. She tells herself she does not need anyone's approval. Yet beneath that confidence lies a fear. She rarely voices that people misunderstand her intentions and only see her harshness. If Hope walks away believing Steffy is the villain, it would sting more than Steffy admits. The next conversation between them could determine everything. If Brooke listens instead of lectures, healing might begin. If Steffy softens instead of doubling down, trust could slowly rebuild. If Hope stays honest without shutting everyone out, new boundaries might create healthier relationships. But history suggests none of this will be easy. Old habits are powerful. Brooke defaults to certainty. Steffy defaults to control. Hope defaults to endurance until she suddenly cannot anymore. Those patterns have shaped years of drama and will not disappear because one argument exposed them. Even so, exposure matters. Hidden resentment poisons relationships quietly. Spoken resentment, though painful, creates the chance for change. Hope's outburst may have been messy, but it was honest. Sometimes honesty arrives loudly when it has been ignored too long. For now, the household remains tense. Brooke rethinks conversations she once considered harmless. Steffy defends choices while privately questioning some of them. Hope feels both relief and vulnerability after saying what she truly thinks. Speaking up can be freeing, but it also changes relationships permanently. No one knows what tomorrow brings. Another fight could erupt. A surprising apology could happen. Alliances could shift in unexpected ways. In this family, calm never lasts long, but neither does certainty. One thing is undeniable. Hope has stepped out of the shadows of Brooke and Steffy's feud. She is no longer merely reacting to their conflict. She is shaping the next chapter herself. And now both Brooke and Steffy must decide whether to keep treating her as part of the battlefield or finally recognize her as a force in her own right.